What happened?
Hey, you got no audio. Welcome to Faith Fiction and Folklore, or the Try F podcast, where we try not to F podcast up. And we're going to start out by Fing up because Gary's uh,
I'm back
mic
now.
is.
There he
Is it
is.
working?
I
There he
hate
is.
OBS. I hate OBS so much.
It
I
cut
hate
out as
it.
soon as he's tried to the intro.
Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. Like it does this every time. It just shuts off my mic. It doesn't shut anything else off, just my mic. CIA. We blame the CIA. Anyway.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, great. How is everybody?
Well, like very well. Like a hole in the ground.
Like a hole in
ground.
Hole in the ground. Okay. Well, I'll take that as a good thing.
Well. Well.
You're well. You're Oh, it was a pun.
There it is.
Dude, I ain't sharp enough for that tonight, man. I can't. Yeah, I can't do it. All right. So we got a pretty crazy show today. We've got our Bible reading we're going to start off with. And then we have got Mike Winger, defining what a Jew is. Considering I've been resistant to talk about this because everybody's been talking about it and I'm sick of it. But I finally decided to be shameless and chase this stupid algorithm. So
don't watch that show.
What show?
Shameless.
Oh,
that's just terrible.
Isn't that just like college drama with drugs or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the commercials and it was like, that looks like it sucks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I decided to shamelessly chase the algorithm. Mike Winger did a video on it. He's kind of given a biblical breakdown about how the Bible defines a Jew after Christ is crucified and rises from the dead and saves our stupid butts. So he does a Bible study on that. We'll react to that. And then afterwards, Roger Avery, who is one of the... either a writer or one of the writers of Pulp Fiction, was on Alex Jones, and he was talking about kind of the Epstein-esque tactics that are used in Hollywood. So I thought we would discuss that, or at least react, because it was actually, like, the latter half of it I didn't stay for, but, the first bit was really interesting. So I wanted to react to the Roger Avery and Alex Jones interview. And then finally, apparently some crazy stuff's happening in Cuba, so I thought we would end the night by kind of checking out what's going on with that. So, any questions?
No. Bible reading first, yeah?
Bible reading first, yep. All right.
You're reading because my nose is all plugged up. I sound weird.
Okay, so we are on Genesis chapter 23. Let me get situated here. I'm going to try to do this to where my volume doesn't cut in and out constantly, which has been my way for the last little bit. See if I can get this to work. I've been hesitant to do this because I've got like one screen that's smaller than the other two screens, so my windows always become full screen and screw everything up. But nope, I can't do that. I'm an idiot because I just screwed up our windows
You want me to read
on the live stream. No, you're good. You're good, man. I'll get it figured out. So hang on here. That's my fault, guys. I'm being stupid. I thought I'd try something different in the middle of the show, which I shouldn't have done.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I get for trying to improve things before the shows or during the show.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. Okay, my bad, guys. All right, here we go.
It's fixed.
Okay, so I'll try to just do this a little better. All right, so the death of Sarah. This is Genesis chapter 23.
Will you bring my phone charger when you come back out? Thank you.
All right. Oh, before I forget, shameless plug, because I'm going to forget if I don't do this right at the beginning. The print copy for the book, for the second book, The Covenant Crisis, came out. Temple of Maggie Stone. Buy the book. I'm poor. There is one thing I haven't mentioned about these books that I should have mentioned when I started plugging them. You can start anywhere from like 1 through 5 and pretty much be able to keep up with what's going on. It isn't until about book 6 that you start needing to know the prior books, because there's enough background info and all this. So yeah, I just need to make sure I mention that. But yes, Temple of Maggie Stone is out. Maggie Stone's a 91-year-old woman. She thought she was going to die. She was wrong. And everything was going great until the other fake bodies woke up. So there's your teaser.
Oh.
So, yep. All right. Now,
So they're like zombies.
No, they're fake synthetic bodies.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And then they start waking up, and nobody knows why. And nobody knows what's going to happen to Maggie Stone because the other bodies start waking up.
So they become sentient on their own without souls?
Yes, but you have to see how it happens. Hint,
Nice.
it's demons.
It's the
So anyway, so yeah,
it's always CIA.
it's always the CIA, right?
What's that movie with the that fella? You know who I'm talking about. Bradley Cooper.
Oh.
And he switches bodies or something. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Where he switches bodies. Who's he switch bodies with?
I don't remember. But he dies. Like he switches bodies, but I'm pretty sure it was CIA. It might have been a privately funded company, but definitely CIA ties. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. It's more like Surrogate. Did you ever see that Bruce Willis movie, Surrogate?
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. So you get fake bodies. The only difference is Maggie Stone's soul is basically transferred into one of these fake bodies. And so they tried to sell the whole thing as a science experiment, but when it was really an incantation, and then all the other demons start waking up. Gotcha. So, or like, because it's a bunch of occult crap.
Good, man. I like that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in it, I'm poor. I need money. Buy the book. It's on Amazon. It's on GaryPaulVarner.org. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's everywhere because I'm poor. So moving on. Okay.
Is it in a store at Barnes & Noble?
Well, it's an online store. Like, I'd have to, like, talk to my... There's a whole process of actually getting it physically into, like, the bookshelves. You know what I mean? So, no, it's online right now. You can order it on audiobook, paperback, or ebook. So, depending on your pressure. Depending on your own thing. Actually, the audiobook isn't that bad. Like, I had to do the AI thing because time. I eventually plan to do all the audiobooks over again with, like, people. But because I don't have enough time, I went with the AI voice. And the female voices are better than the male voices. So I liked the way that the Maggie Stone audiobook turned out better than the Jerome or the familiar audiobook. So it's kind of interesting. So anyway, all right. We should move on. I just wanted to get that done because I'll forget if I don't do it at the beginning. So, okay, Genesis chapter 23, the death of Sarah. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went to mourn for Sarah and to weep over her. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. He said, I am a foreigner and stranger among you. Sell me some property for a burial site here so I can bury my dead. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Sir, listen to us. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you his tomb for burying your dead. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. He said to them, If you are willing to let me bury my dead, then listen to me and intercede with Ephron, son of Zohar, on my behalf. So he will sell me the calf of Machpelah, which belongs to him and is at the end of his field. Ask him to sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you. Ephron the Hittite was sitting among his people, and he replied to Abraham in the hearing of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city. No, my lord, he said, listen to me. I give you the field, and I give you the calf that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Again, Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephron in their hearing, "Listen to me, if you will. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me, so I can bury my dead there." Ephron answered Abraham, "Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. But what is that between you and me? Bury your dead." Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weight current among the merchants. So Ephron's field in Machpelah near Mamre, both the field and the cave in it, and all the trees within the borders of the field, was deeded to Abraham as his property in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. Afterward, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave in the land of Machpelah near Mamre, which is, I know I'm saying that wrong, but whatever, which is at Hebron in the land of Canaan. So the field and the cave in it were deeded to Abraham by the Hittites as a burial site. And that is chapter 23. Any thoughts on chapter 23?
Nope, that's dope.
I wonder if anybody's actually tried to find her burial site.
Find her burial site? I don't know. It's a good question. I'm sure somebody has, but I don't imagine they've had any luck. But anyway,
that'd be cool to have the funding to follow the Bible, like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, this is where Abraham stood when he was, took Isaiah for the sacrifice.
Yeah.
This is where Sarah was buried. And just go there, and that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, people would get mad at you because you'd probably find sites that weren't quote-unquote traditional, and then, you'd have to argue with all the other guys that'd be like, no, I was over here, and this is where that happened.
You actually wind up in the middle of Africa somewhere. It's like, this is where it actually happened.
Well, I've heard,
like, that's not right. That's not right.
Yeah. Well, I've heard people argue over where the Dead Sea crossing happened. They argue about where Mount Sinai was. I mean, it's a crazy. Biblical archaeology is a crazy field.
People argue over whether or not Jesus actually wept.
That's true. Oh well.
The shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. People argue over that.
Yeah. What'd you say, Cody?
I said some people don't even think Jesus existed.
You're going to have to get close to your mic, man. I cannot understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, we lost you.
Some people think that Jesus didn't even exist.
Yeah, some people do think that. They're wrong. But anyway.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Yeah. Stay at it. We'll get her figured out. All right, so we're going to move on to chapter 24. This is Isaac and Rebekah. Genesis chapter 24. Abraham was now very old, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to the senior servant in his household, the one in charge of all that he had, "Put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I am living, but will go to my country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac." The servant asked him, "What if the woman is unwilling to come back with me to this land? Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from?" "Make sure that you do not take my son back there," Abraham said. "The Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my native land, and who spoke to me and promised me an oath, saying, 'To your offspring I will give this land,' he will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there." So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore an oath to him concerning this matter. Now, I do find that interesting that a servant is being tasked with finding the son a wife. It seems like an odd custom, but
Yeah.
Maybe he knew his way around the ladies, man.
I don't know. It's a weird thing, though. It's a weird thing. Anyway, so thankfully the guy's, a righteous man. Otherwise, I don't know. That could have been bad. But anyway, so
Maybe that's why I picked him.
yeah, maybe he had a good reputation. Yeah. So then the servant left, taking with him 10 of his master's camels, loaded with all kinds of good things from his master. He set out for Aram Naharaim and made his way to the town of Nahor. He had the camels kneel down near the well outside the town. It was toward evening, the time the women go out to draw water. Then he prayed, Lord, God of my master Abraham, make me successful today and show kindness to my master Abraham. See, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let down your jar that I may have a drink, and she says, drink, and I'll water your camels too, let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. Before he had finished praying, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin, and no man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, Please give me a little water from your jar. Drink, my lord, she said, and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough to drink. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the well to draw more water, and drew enough for all his camels. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took out a gold nose ring weighing a beka and 2 gold bracelets weighing 10 shekels. Then he asked, Whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? She answered him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, born to Nahor. And she added, We have plenty of straw and fodder, as well as room for you to spend the night. Then the man bowed down and worshipped the Lord, saying, Praise be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who does not abandon his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my master's relatives. The young man ran and told her mother's household about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban, and he hurried out to the man at the spring. As soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms and had heard Rebekah tell what the man said to her, he went out to the man and found him standing by the camels near the spring. Come, you who are blessed by the Lord, he said. Why are you standing out here? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man went to the house, and the camels were unloaded. Straw and fodder were brought for the camels, and water for him and his men to wash their feet. Then food was set before him, but he said, I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say. Then tell us, Laban said. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has blessed my master abundantly, and he has become wealthy. He has given him sheep and cattle, silver and gold, male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. My master's wife Sarah has borne him a son in her old age, and he has given him everything he owns. And my master made me swear an oath and said, You must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live, but go to my father's family and to my own clan and get a wife for my son. Then I asked my master, What if the woman will not come back with me? He replied, "The Lord, before whom I have walked faithfully, will send his angel with you and make your journey a success, so that you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and from my father's family. You will be released from my oath if, when you go to my clan, they refuse to give her to you, then you will be released from my oath." When I came to the spring, I said, "Lord, God of my master Abraham, if you will, please grant success to the journey on which I have come. See, I am standing beside this spring. If a young woman comes out to draw water, and I say to her, 'Please let me drink a little water from your jar,' and if she says to me, 'Drink, and I'll draw water for your camels too,' let her be the one the Lord has chosen for my master's son." Before I finished praying in my heart, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She went down to the spring and drew water, and I said to her, "Please give me a drink." She quickly lowered her jar from her shoulder and said, "Drink, and I'll water your camels too." So I drank, and she watered the camels also. I asked her, "Whose daughter are you?" She said, "The daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him." Then I put the ring in her nose and the bracelets on her arms, and I bowed down and worshipped the Lord. I praised the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to get the granddaughter of my master's brother for his son. Now, if you will show kindness and faithfulness to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so I may know which way to turn." Laban and Bethuel answered, "This is from the Lord. We can say nothing to you one way or the other. Here is Rebekah. Take her and go, and let her become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed." When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he bowed down to the ground before the Lord. Then the servant brought out gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, he said, "Send me on my way to my master." But her brother and her mother replied, "Let the young woman remain with us 10 days or so, then you may go." But he said to them, "Do not detain me, now that the Lord has granted success to my journey. Send me on my way, so I may go to my master." Then they said, "Let's call the young woman and ask her about it." So they called Rebekah and asked her, "Will you go with this man?" "I will go," she said. So they sent their sister Rebekah on her way, along with her nurse and Abraham's servants and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, "Our sister, may you increase to thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the cities of their enemies." Then Rebekah and her attendants got ready and mounted the camels and went back with the man. So the servant took Rebekah and left. Now Isaac had come from Beer Lahai Roi, for he was living in Negev. He went out to the field one evening to meditate, and as he looked up, he saw camels approaching. Rebekah also looked up and saw Isaac. She got down from her camel and asked the servant, "Who is that man in the field coming to meet us?" "He is my master," the servant answered. So she took her veil and covered herself. Then the servant told Isaac all he had done. Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother, Sarah, and he married Rebekah. So she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Genesis 24.
That was a long one.
That was a long one.
I was letting you get through it. I was like, wow.
Well, what do you think about that?
I'm trying to remember, like, as I was reading it, I was thinking, somebody said something. It was like a sermon I heard a long time ago. Somebody said something about why they wanted to keep Rebekah there for 10 days, but I can't remember what that was about. It seems like, because Laban's a nefarious character in Genesis. He kind of trips people up. He's kind of a, he's like Jacob, only worse. You know what I mean? Like, he cheats people and stuff. So I want to say that the reason he left was because Laban and that family was up to no good, so he wanted to get her out fast. But I cannot remember the context or when and where I heard that. So I can try to look that up if you're interested. So otherwise, don't take my word for it, because that's an old sermon. Maybe. Let me you guys talk amongst yourselves. What do you think about it, Cody? I'm gonna try to look this up while you're talking.
I don't know. I didn't have a lot of thoughts about it. It's just a story about buying a girlfriend, you know?
Why did he give her a nose ring? That one I'm curious.
That's like a wedding ring back then.
Oh.
I always kind of like to give some of those denominational guys crap for getting mad at people who have jewelry. I'm like, we get mad at nose rings, but hey, Abraham's servant gave Rebecca one. I don't know what you're complaining about. You can't say it's a sin if, it happened way back when.
It said he put the ring in her nose. It's like, whoa. She's got a septum. That's how they got married, a septum. Or was it just a gift? I think it was just a gift.
Over here.
Oh.
On the side. Not septum.
What are those ones called?
I don't know.
So AI, and I don't know how reliable this is. It seems, I remember the last option is striking a bell. So I kind of think that's what I heard. But the AI says Laban and Rebekah's mother likely asked for a 10-day delay in Genesis 24 to properly prepare Rebekah for her long journey and marriage, allow for a respectful goodbye, and perhaps to secure more gifts, dowry from the wealthy servant. See, that's kind of what I thought. I feel like I heard somebody say they were going to try to get more out of him because, he had money. And that's why that's why he was supposed to leave. So, but I don't know. That's just what I heard. I need a drink after that.
Well read, sir.
Thank you. All right. So we're on to Genesis 25, unless anybody has any final thoughts. Actually, let me ask you a question. What pops in my head?
Answer.
What do you think the biblical view of love is, or the definition of love is, when a story like that's in the Bible? Because it seems very hard to comprehend love as like an emotional feeling, when you're like meeting people at random and a servant is buying your wife, and yet you're commanded to love your wife. What do you think that says about love and the biblical understanding of what love is?
Well, I mean, love is I look at it as a verb almost. I mean, like.
I'd agree with that.
But I don't know. I think back then, I mean, I think we talked about last week how everybody was dying all the time. Like everybody was dying like constantly. Like there was just a lot more death. And so back then, like marriage was about like bloodline per generation. So like I wonder if the servant went out to look for like good stock, like genetic stock. That was like his task.
Yeah, I know Abraham definitely wanted to keep it within his like family tradition, but I don't know if that's because of like something genetic, or if it was because they were already worshiping like Baal or some kind of evil thing, or at least that was more common. Obviously, not all of them were doing that yet, but there might have been some cultural differences he was worried about. I don't know. But I agree with what you said about love being a verb. I actually agree with that quite strongly, passionately. I think that's kind of the point. Is a lot of people want to talk about love being just purely emotional, and I'm like, no, I think it's a choice.
Or physical.
I mean, everybody has relationship issues. It's like, and so like you have to remember. Like I try to just remember like what the Bible says, like core principles. Husbands, love your wives, and wives, respect your husbands. Like you do those two things and you're okay. So it's just like I just gotta remember to love my wife. That's all I gotta do. And that's an action, man. Like you have to do that.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with that.
Like
100%.
showing a female love is like it takes effort,
Mm-hmm. for sure.
And sometimes it's because sometimes it's not a positive thing. Sometimes it's a correction.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do.
But it's a choice. It's active. It's not catching the feels. I remember, shows like Boy Meets World back in the day. They'd always be like, sometimes love just dies. And I'm like, I don't think it works like that. So no wonder the divorce rate's like 50%. So
yeah,
it's higher now, isn't it?
I don't know. Last I heard it was 50. Could be higher. Who knows? We can Google it. While I'm Googling it, what do you think, Trevor? What's your thoughts?
I think love is unconditional. Real love, anyways. But that's just me.
I agree. I think it's unconditional. I think you have to make the choice of it as well.
Yeah, and sometimes that choice can be very difficult, especially if the other person is just all conditional.
I don't know why I laughed at that.
what?
You're right. Love is unconditional. I agree with that completely. But look at this. This is AI. I don't know if this is true or not, but just it figures.
Wow.
If it's true, it figures. So the U.S. divorce rate has generally declined since 2008. So it started going down in 2008, reaching historic lows in the 2020s with about 2.4 divorces per 1,000 people, or 14.56 per 1,000 married women in 2022. While roughly 40% of marriages may still end in divorce, the rate is falling for younger people, though gray divorce, ages 50 plus, remains elevated. Freaking hippies. So that's what went through my head. I'm like, it's the freaking hippies. Of course it is. So
The boomers.
yeah.
Hippies and the boomers.
Oh my gosh. It's like, maybe that whole free love thing that you're talking about wasn't such a good idea. Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, maybe.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, well, might have been a little vindictive on my part, but that was a genuine laugh. It may not have been a good one, but it was a genuine one. So, all right. We got a minute to go before we reach 30 minutes. So anybody have any final thoughts on this passage?
No.
No.
Do you?
I just really want to emphasize the fact that you said love is a verb. I think that's very, 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 very true. And I think that's a very, very good point and a strong note to end on. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Yeah, it's something you have to do constantly, over and over and over, and you get crapped on for it
Every day.
Yeah.
because, when you're showing love, you're showing vulnerability, and people take advantage of that when they're hurt or angry, and it's just the name of the game. Where you just got to keep getting stepped on, turn the other cheek. It's terrible.
No, you're all right. People are crap. Love them anyway. So,
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think,
They don't know
Trevor?
what they do.
Yeah, they know what
I
they
agree.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You can love someone as much as you possibly can, and that's all you can do.
All right. Well, that is the end of part 1, boys. If you're on the live stream, stay with us. We've got 3 more segments left. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time
Deuces.
on the part 2. All right.
Like horse.
Okay, so who wants to lead us in for this one? I'm really glad you said that love is a verb thing. Like, that's something I'm pretty passionate about, actually.
Nice.
So, yeah. That was good. That was a good comment.
One of my old pastors wrote a book called "Do Love."
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a good little book.
That's awesome.
Anyways, what's our next topic about? I forgot.
What is a Jew?
What? Oh,
Like Mike
Okay.
Winger.
Yeah, by Mike Winger. Mike Winger did a study on it, and since we'd been going back and forth on Instagram, I thought you'd appreciate it. So
all right.
I thought we'd
All
react.
right, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. Which I'm pretty sure we've already done tonight, but that's okay. We're trucking along. And this segment tonight, we're going to talk about Mike Winger. He did a video called "What is a Jew?" And I think that's pretty funny. Gary, I think it offends him a little bit. Trevor doesn't care at all. And so we're going to find out what a Jew is. I think I'm going to start calling them Sadducees just for clarity, because that's what Jesus called them. So, Gary, how are you tonight?
Prickly, apparently.
Prickly. Okay, Trevor, how are you? Are you a cactus as well?
I can be whatever cactus you want me to be.
Oh, how about a fuzzy one?
I'll be Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Fuzzy cactus. Huh. Okay, all right. Well, we're ready, boys?
Yeah.
Sweet. Here we go.
Hey, what is a Jew? According to the New Testament in particular, I'll talk about the Old Testament briefly, but what is a Jew according to the New Testament? That's the focus. I know that this enters into a bunch of hot-headed stuff that people are engaging in today. I'm not actually really trying to weigh in on all that stuff. I really want to answer the question in the New Testament, how is the term used? And I think it's interesting, it's fascinating, it's theologically deep, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on it, and then I'll go to your guys' questions from the live chat. My name's Mike Winger. I am here to, hopefully, God willing, with God's help you learn how to think biblically about everything so that you're truly able to process what Scripture says about not only theology, but about your life situations, the feelings you're going through, the temptations you're facing, the sorrow and trauma of your past, like all of the stuff. Because Scripture is an aid in all of those things to us. It is God's inspired, absolutely inspired, God-breathed gift to us. So let's dig in. First, I want to show you the Old Testament. Okay, I know that there's a lot of people who are immediately...
What?
Said hallelujah.
Hallelujah. There we go.
Thinking, I know the answer to this question, Mike. Jew comes from Judah. Judah was a tribe of Israel. And so when you say Jew, you're referring to someone who's of the tribe of Judah, of the descendants of Israel. And so that's how it's understood. That's how often people today will say that's what Jew means. Actually, even before the New Testament, by the end of the Old Testament, it was not being used that way. It was, or not exclusively that way. It was also being used to refer to anybody who was a descendant of Abraham. Let's see, like of the promise, you might say, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, right? So let me go to Jeremiah 34:9 and show you this verse. It says here that, I won't get into all the context here, but it says everyone should set free his Hebrew slaves. Now, the word Hebrew here is referring to any descendant of Abraham along that line, right? It's going to be all of them. It's not just one of the tribes. It's not Benjamin. It's not Judah, for instance. But it goes on. It says, set free his Hebrew slaves, male and female, so that no one should enslave a Jew, his brother. So Hebrew and Jew in Jeremiah 34:9 are being used synonymously. That is Old Testament. This is before the New Testament. It has already turned out this way. Now, words do change over time. The usage of a term, the way that it's applied, it changes over time. That's true. And while there are times where Jew, coming from Judah, refers to a smaller group of people, it eventually just comes to embrace all of them, all of the Israelites. Now, there's another myth here with the Old Testament, and that is the idea that Judah is just tribal. It wasn't just tribal. Judah was referring to, so when they entered the land, they're one nation, right? Later they split in King Solomon's time, or just after Solomon's time, they split, right? His son's time. And there's a northern kingdom called Israel and a southern kingdom called Judah. And now you get the term Jew could refer to someone from the southern kingdom. They may or may not be of the tribe of Judah, but the royal house is of the tribe of Judah in that southern kingdom, so your allegiance is to the Judaic king, David or his descendants. And then you've got the northern kingdom, which are a bunch of knucklehead kings, and well, there was knuckleheads on all sides, as there are today in politics. But Israelite would be, you would think Israel's referring to the north, Jews referring to more of the south, and later on they just merge. They're using the term synonymously. Okay, that's Old Testament. Let's look at the New Testament. The first time the word Jew is used in the New Testament is Matthew 2:2, where it says, not Matthew 22, Matthew 2:2. It says the following. Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and we've come to worship him. This is the Magi speaking here, the wise men, you may have heard them referred to as. These guys are saying, where's Jesus? He is the king of who? The Jews. Now, they were not claiming, obviously, that Jesus was just the king of the Judaic, or I shouldn't use that word here in its context, the king of those who are of the house of Judah. No, he's a king of the house of Judah, but he's the king of all of them. Every single person that is the descendant of Abraham, he's the rightful king. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, down that line. So we look through this and we go, yeah, Jesus is a Jew, and Jew is an inclusive term that refers to a very large group of people, not a tribe or a smaller gathering. We also see in the New Testament that Jew and Israelite are used synonymously. Here is Romans 11:1, where Paul refers to himself as an Israelite. He said, has God rejected his people? By no means. For I myself am an Israelite. Okay, so he's not just meaning the northern kingdom or something. He's talking about the broader sense. A descendant of Abraham, a member of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, so if he's Benjamin, that's southern kingdom, and he uses Israelite. All right, so they're just used as inclusive terms. And numerous times Paul refers to himself as a Jew. He does this a number of times. It's not uncommon for Paul. So the term New Testament initially, the term Jew, just refers to anybody in that genetic category. And it refers to them a lot. The most common usage of the term Jew in the New Testament is just to refer to, I would call it a genetic category, right? Like you're of the descendants. You're part of that national identity, even though there's times where they don't have their own national borders and land and stuff like that, but still they have that identity. That's who they are. Jew, Israelite, synonymous terms. But we get the following in Galatians. There's going to be a couple people wondering about this. Galatians chapter 3, verse 27, starting there, it says, for as many of you as were baptized into Christ have put on Christ. Now that's a very Jewish term, isn't it? Christ. That's Messiah, right? That when you've been baptized into the Jewish Savior and you've put on Christ, therefore, then he says in 28, there is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free. There is no male and no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. And then it goes on even something stronger. It says, and if you are Christ, then you are Abraham's offspring, heirs according to the promise. And this is where we get discussions about like replacement theology. I don't want to get fully into that, like a whole thing on that just for the Q&A today, but replacement theology, which has some elements of truth in it. And I know there are those who are radically offended by the moniker replacement theology. Like you get angry. You got to calm down. Just relax. Like I'm just trying to have a word to describe it. Because if you just say covenant theology, this is a big in-house thing here. If you say covenant theology, you're actually saying something much larger than the thing we're trying to talk about. We're talking about one aspect of something.
Okay, so is everybody following what he's saying with that? Basically, covenant theology believes that like the church is the new Jewish people. I think dispensationalists, I believe it's dispensationalists, believe that the Jews, like the Abrahamic covenant, still applies. And what else? Yeah, I think that's basically what he's mentioning. He's calling it replacement theology instead of covenant theology.
So as long as we follow Jesus, we're all Jews.
Yeah, by like replacement theology's understanding of it. I kind of like replacement theology better because covenant theology, I always understood that to be like what I've talked about in the past, conditional versus unconditional covenants. Apparently that's something different than what this covenant theology is referring to. This covenant theology is like, basically instead of, like it's basically like there's different covenants that act almost like ages or something like that. So basically Adamist. You know, let me just look it up really quick. Hang on here. I apologize for being somewhat unprepared on this, but
We're doing it live.
Yeah, because this was something that's been tripping me up for a long time, and I've been trying to. While he was talking, I'll confess, I was trying to fix our chat because something screwed up with our chat. So, I've been tracking as close. What is covenant theology? Theology, or replacement theology?
I don't know. I think giving all this stuff names and all that is irritating.
Well, for a long time, I've been like, what in the world is like the problem? Because it sounds to me like they're kind of go on top of each other. Like you have the Jewish age and the church age, and there's going to be the end times. And I never understood like the difference between the two. But I think what it's amounting to is basically like whether or not the church is the chosen people or whether the Jews are still the chosen people. I think that's what they're arguing about.
It's everybody making a claim within Zionism.
Well, Zionism is about like the land claim, so that, like that's kind of tied into this.
I don't believe that.
What do you think Zionism's about?
Zionism is about like a group of people being the chosen ministers of the word in the end times. And so like all these different groups like Latter-day Saints or Mormons or Jews or like all these different people all think that they're the special race of people. That's Zionism.
See, I was under a completely different impression. I was taught that Zionism kind of comes out of the late 1800s. And it's this idea that the Jewish people are going to reclaim that land. And anybody who's for that's like a Zionist. Anybody who's against that, something else. So,
no, I mean, like Revelation talks about Mount Zion coming down, and people have always laid claim to, being part of that.
Okay, I think I've got a good graph to kind of explain this. I think.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got a graph that kind of loosely explains this. Of course, when you're talking about these church definitions, like when you try to explain one, everybody's like, that's not right. Because nobody can ever agree on what half this stuff is. But anyway, so this is where I got with it. So you've got the covenant of works. That's Adam. And then you've got, I guess everything starts out with the covenant of works. And then you've got the Adamic covenant, which is like, Adam sins. And so now everybody's under a curse, right? Then you've got the Noahic covenant, which, hello, Beans to Calyx. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Trying to fix the chat, man. We'll try to get that done here in a second so we can see your comments. Anyway, so you've got Noahic covenant, and then you've got the Abrahamic covenant, the Mosaic covenant, the Davidic covenant, and then the new covenant. Now, I agree with all of that, but the problem is like, for some reason, people turn around and say that, the Jews are no longer the Jews because we're in a new covenant, I think is the general idea. I wish somebody who understood covenant theology could come in here and explain it, but because I've done like a whole lot of homework on this and I still have no idea what anybody's talking about. But
excuse me, because I'm going to sound like I'm oversimplifying this, but so to me, the covenant thing is like Jesus is the covenant that we use, right? So it's like the law is what the Jews follow, like the Torah. They follow the law because they think they can do the law. Like because they don't believe in Jesus, right? So they don't want his covenant, so they're going to try to fulfill the law themselves. Like that's their whole religion. Like that's all of it. So within the covenant thing, like them keeping track of those covenants is like their safeguards with God. It's like their contracts with God to keep them safe from his wrath. And so like, but we don't use any of that because we have Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not trying to fulfill the law, so we don't need those covenants.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
So it's all like hogwash silliness.
Well, I think what Mike Winger is going to get at is that basically they were still considered Jews, even though you are right about how they viewed it. Like they were wrong to view it that way, but yeah, they were still considered Jews, is what he's going to eventually say. But yeah, I think you're right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix this stupid chat, and it is just fighting me.
Oh, yeah.
Like nobody's business. Okay, but let's get back to the Mike Winger video, unless you want to like have a final thought on that. Because I mean, I agree with what you're saying broadly. Like it's kind of, I don't know, pointless to even have these distinctions in a certain. Like it's good to know the covenants, but to sit there and make those kinds of inferences, I don't think the text supports that. But
yeah,
that's just me.
I mean, like you kind of have to. I feel like to really care about it, you kind of have to identify with it a little bit. And it's like you just can't. Like,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. So, sorry. We just need to start playing this video before I go back to monkeying with the chat, because I'm really trying to fix the chat here. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna play this, and everybody just bear with me. I'm gonna try to fix this.
Anyways, and not all covenant theologians would even fit that category of what we're talking about when we say that's replacement theology. Anyway, I would advocate that there needs to be some term to identify people with that view, but it's like half right. It's like half true, I think, in my view. Because look, if I'm Christ, which I am, and I'm a Gentile who is Christ, so now I'm Abraham's offspring, in what sense? I'm heirs according to the promise. To promise. Now, what was the promise? You're going to be the father of many nations. We're grafted in, is the theology. I'm grafted in. And so in Christ, based on Galatians, there is no Jew or Gentile. Does that mean that if you are a Jew today who is a Christian, you're no longer a Jew? Or if you're a Gentile who is a Christian, you are no longer a Gentile? Is it saying something that extreme? I would argue no, and we can see this because Galatians also says the following. Same book, Galatians 2, Paul talking to Peter about some issues. And he's going to affirm that there still is this Jew and Gentile terminology that applies to people who are Christians. And so let me just say, what I'm saying here is, as pertains to salvation, in a sense, there's no Jew or Gentile. In another sense, there is. And that's just how the New Testament deals with the terms. It uses the term Jew to refer to unsaved Jews and to saved Jews, but makes very clear that as regards your salvation, like how you get saved, it's not by being Jew or being Gentile, and you don't go from Gentile to Jew or Jew to Gentile. You just get into Jesus Christ, and you are in all of the promises of God. And if that seems like it's hard to process, that's what the New Testament gives us. So let me look at this passage here. But when Cephas, that's Peter, came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he stood condemned. And you're going to be like, why is Paul opposing Peter if you're not familiar with this passage? Well, he's going to describe it right here. He did this thing that it signaled to the Gentile Christians that they were somehow not fully in Christ. So verse 12 says, for before certain men came from James, he was eating with the Gentiles. But when they came, he drew back and separated himself, fearing the circumcision party. So these guys go from James. Doesn't mean that everything they do is approved by James and stuff like that, but they're coming from Jerusalem, right? And he separates, and he will no longer eat with the Gentiles. He's falling into the old Jewish tradition of you don't eat with Gentiles, you don't eat anything unclean, and you don't eat with people who are unclean. right? So this is something you don't do. So he does this because he fears the circumcision party. He's worried about what they think. Verse 13, and the rest of the Jews acted hypocritically along with him, so that even Barnabas was led astray by their hypocrisy. The rest of the what? The Jews. Paul affirms a Jewish, uniquely Jewish identity that still exists for a group of people who are actually Christians. The rest of the Jews. So Peter is included as a Jew, and the rest of the Jews, the other ones like him, did the same thing. And they separated from who? From the Gentiles. So there's a Jewish and Gentile distinction that Paul thinks is worth maintaining even post understanding the gospel, even in the same letter where he says there's no Jew or Greek. So it's complicated. Yeah, in Christ there's no Jew or Greek, but that doesn't mean we're saying we completely wipe out these distinctions in every respect. We're just saying, as far as getting saved goes, being Jew or Greek, Gentile doesn't matter. It has no effect on that salvation. Just like we don't wipe out male and female roles in marriage. It's just men and women get saved the same way through Jesus. We don't wipe out master and slave distinctions even, although we may advocate against those things. We're not saying they simply don't exist. They're still like employees, for instance, and employers, and you're given instructions on honoring God in your work and honoring God in the way that you treat those under you. So those distinctions exist. They just don't have any relationship to our salvation. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'll read a little bit more. So Peter pulls back, verse 13, the other Jews, even Barnabas is led astray by their hypocrisy. And he calls it hypocrisy because, they know the gospel's true. They're just doing something that's not consistent with the gospel. Their actions are coming against the gospel. But when I saw that their conduct was not in step with the truth of the gospel, I said to Cephas before them all, if you, though a Jew, live like a Gentile and not like a Jew, how can you force the Gentiles to live like Jews? His entire objection to Peter is based on the idea that Jew and Gentile still have meaning, even within a Christian context. Now, he's not creating separation between us, like we're part of a different body of believers, or we have different paths of salvation. That would be a heresy. He's just saying these distinctions do matter, but not as it pertains to salvation. That's how I think the term is used, Jew is used usually in the New Testament. It's referring to people who are that genetic thing going on. There are believing Jews and there are non-believing Jews in the New Testament, because there are some who think you can no longer use the term Jew to refer to somebody after Christ dies and rises. He initiates the church. You can no longer refer to a Jew as a Jew if they are not actually in Christ. That's their view, but that's not the New Testament. It's not how it uses the word. So Colossians 1:23, it says, is that what I wanted? That is not what I wanted. Oh, I may have, oh boy, now I've lost where that verse was. I wrote down the wrong reference. Maybe I'll think of it. There's a, give me a second. Maybe I can find it. Trying to think of the wording of the text. There's two verses back to back that give us
does it get into
the idea that there are some Jews who believe and there are some Jews who don't believe.
Yes, sir.
Does it get into what it means today? Not what it meant back then?
No, it sticks with just the New Testament and what it was like. Basically, his argument against the replacement theology thing is they still made distinctions between Jews who believed and Jews who don't believe, so therefore they were still considered Jews. The church hadn't replaced them. That's like where all that's going. So I think I exited out of it, didn't I? Crap.
It's like there's always like this. There's always like this binary within it. It's like a cop out. I don't know. It's crazy.
Why is it binary a cop out?
Because you can pick either side based on who you're talking to appease them.
Yeah, but what if you have a legitimate opinion, though? Does that make it a cop-out, or is it like fair if the opinion is real?
I mean, I guess you can have a real opinion, but it's like it can be used as a cop-out.
Yeah, I mean it can be, but I mean anything can be. So I guess I don't have an issue with there being such a thing
It's
as
like
Jews.
identify like I'll identify as white. Like yeah, we have meth heads, but I'm not gonna be like, oh well, I'm this kind of white person, not that kind of white person.
Uh-huh.
It's like no, just identify as what you are. If that's what you want to do.
I think I understand what you're saying. So like your aggravation is just the willingness for people to take like an identity at all. Like I mean I'm not being derogatory. I
Yeah.
think yeah.
Yeah, like just stand in your boots, man. Like
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying. I'm Scottish, but I hate golf. So, I mean, I don't.
only a true Scotsman.
Yeah. I wouldn't be caught dead in a kilt. I wouldn't subject humanity to me in a kilt. So,
Yeah.
no, I understand what you're saying. I like the way the founders, viewed America. We're a people with a creed. What gives us our inherent value is the fact that we have a creed. All men are created equal, endowed with certain inalienable rights. So our identity was our creed, as it were, not our blood or some superficial thing that we had nothing to do with. I like that. I think the Jews are kind of in a unique place because their culture was used to basically isolate them from the rest of the world to protect the bloodline of the Messiah. I think they had a very specific role in history. I think they're in kind of a unique cultural situation. But I understand what you're saying, and I would certainly apply that for myself. I don't have any interest in being Cherokee or Scottish or German or anything like that. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've started. I think I'm going to call them Sadducees. If we're talking about the modern day Jews, then I'm calling them Sadducees because they don't believe in the Bible. It says they don't believe in the resurrection.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't think they believe that.
That will be my
in the
distinctive
resurrection.
label for that, because the term Jew, in my opinion, is just so watered down. Like it can mean literally anything now, and anybody can say they are that, because you could be a grafted in Jew, or you could be a Ashkenazi. You got the Sephardic, you got the Messianic, there's so many different kinds. Like it's just a watered down term. So if we're talking about, they're Sadducees to me.
I think you're right in a certain respect. Like, there's certainly like Christian, like black liberation theology. They pretend to be the new Jewish people. Like, there's
Right,
churches that pretend to be Jewish. Yeah.
Elvis believed in the black Israelites.
Elvis?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think Johnny Cash might have too.
That's very strange. It seems like you'd be starting out of luck. So,
Yeah.
too little melanin to enter those ranks. But okay. So anyway, well, Trevor, you've been awfully quiet. What do you think?
I don't know. Ben Shapiro. There you go.
Did you say Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
What about Ben
Don't make me-
Shapiro?
Don't make me angry, Trevor.
Oh,
Well-
just it's like
Well-
Mitch should say Ben Shapiro 3 times fast, and we'll throw Cody into a rage.
No, when I hear what is a Jew, I'm like, Ben Shapiro. There's
Ben
a
Shapiro.
Jew. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's called a stereotype, you racist.
No, Ben Shapiro is a warmonger. He deserves every bit of Sadducee.
I don't know if he's a warmonger. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. But he does aggravate me as well on a variety of things. So, but we won't dwell on that for
No.
now. Unless there's something else you're wanting to talk about.
No, sir.
No,
I'm
sir.
good.
Okay.
I have said my piece.
Yeah, I apologize for deleting or turning off the Mike Winger video halfway through. I didn't realize I'd done that. I'm having zero luck with this chat and getting it fixed. I don't know what the bloody problem is.
I didn't even realize you turned the video off. So
Yeah, well, it's because our conversation was so engaging. So,
just hit the back button. I think you just went forward on accident.
Well, it's all right. We've done our 30 minutes on this subject. I think we're ready to go on to the next thing. Unless you just want to keep talking about it.
Nah, it's all right.
Because we didn't get to the synagogue of Satan. We didn't get into how the Jews today know they're Jews. Like, we didn't get into any of that. And I feel like those are all in-depth conversations by themselves. So maybe for another episode then.
sure, man.
Or maybe somebody in the chat can tell us what they'd like us to talk about. Because we're kind of... I didn't want to talk about it because everybody's talking about it. But then I was like, I really need to feed the algorithm. I guess we'll talk about it.
What's our time stamp at, right?
We're past 30 minutes. We're at an hour 6. So we are ready to move on to the next thing if everybody's good with it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
Well, guys, if you're on the live stream, stay with us. We got 2 more segments left if you are watching this after the fact. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. On to part 3. Later. On to part 3. Okay. Now, the next one was Roger Avery and the Alex Jones interview. Does somebody want to lead us in for that?
Trevor.
Welcome to Faith Fiction and or Folklore and the Triumph podcast, where we try not to F podcast up. And today we are talking about Gary, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Roger Avery doing an interview with Alex Jones, because apparently his interview of Joe Rogan went exceedingly well. So that's our next subject. Roger Avery.
So he's a good interviewee.
Yes, and he talks a lot about the Hollywood blackmail. And what I liked about this is, speaking of this dichotomous thing that you don't like, is he mentions how like basically everything is a narrative. Like, there's so many factions and they're all fighting for control of Hollywood because everything's about how you frame a problem. So, for example, just to make people angry, because it's politically contentious, I guess, if you look at immigration, have whatever opinion you want, but don't you think it's a little weird that it's always like, deport them or open borders? Nobody ever says anything like, well, why don't we just throw them in jail for a couple of years and then let them out? Or how about we tax them? Or how about we pay them a fine? Or how about, whatever variety of solution there might be. Any like middle ground solution or any other kind of solution is instantly shut up. It's always, you either deport them, all of them, or you're for open borders and you hate America or whatever. But it's the dichotomy. It's the, Hegelian, I think is the word Jones uses, the Hegelian dialectic.
Hegelian dialectic.
Thank you. So it's like that with everything. It's always like 2 solutions, never any other kind of solution. No, let them fight. And that's on purpose, because it's the CIA. And demons and parasites, whatever you want to call them. So
it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. People are like, these guys are nuts. Anyway, so... Yeah.
So what does Pulp Fiction have to do with anything Alex Jones is talking about? Please enlighten me.
He wrote it. The guy Roger Avery helped write Pulp Fiction. So I was like, hey, I know that movie. That's a big fish talking to Alex Jones. So I was interested.
Yeah. So what's he talking about?
He's talking about what we just talked about, the narrative setting, how Hollywood is used for narrative setting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're fishing.
So the Pulp Fiction has nothing to do with it.
Well, it's part of his credentials, so he's a Hollywood insider. Right. So, but no, nothing beyond that. I mean, I'm not giving a what's the word? A critique of Pulp Fiction and its relevance to society. I'm actually doing that with AI, artificial intelligence. I hate that movie. Nice. It's awful.
I've never seen it.
It's terrible.
I dressed up like it. Me and Callie did for Halloween one year.
AI?
And then No, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay.
She dressed up like Uma Thurman, and I was that one guy.
Travolta?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. He didn't go well in that movie. That's all I remember. Yeah, I remember the way Bruce Willis took him out. That was I was like, that's not the way I thought that character would go. They gave him way too much screen time for something like that, but oh well.
Bruce Willis is apparently pretty screwed up.
Yeah, he's not doing too well, I hear, which is unfortunate.
And all that dementia and whatnot.
Yeah, sad day, sad day. Are you boys ready?
Let's do it. No.
No? Well, we're going to do it anyway.
A squirrel or something. If you're not part of that group, if you're the one kid who's not part of it, and you don't, and you recognize that it's morally wrong, and you separate yourself from that group, you are now outside of that group. If you're in a fraternity and you don't go through the hazing initiation, which, you know, who knows what that is, you are now outside of that group.
If you don't screw the pig or the goat, you're not in the club.
There was this guy I'd seen on X who, this well-dressed black dude who was I think it was at the Atlanta airport, and he had read basically what I had read, and he was out there and he couldn't believe everyone was asleep and just going about their daily lives, just like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And he was like Kevin McCarthy, the actor from the original movie, who was reprising that final moment of the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Hang on a minute. I think... Yeah, hang on. I apologize, guys. I thought I got it past the intro, but...
And I wanted to ask you to talk about yourself, your journey, how you discovered that this Satanism really is a underpinning of so much of what's going on, where you think it's going, kind of your 35,000-foot view, and then you've got the floor to go through these topics, starting with predictive programming. But again, thank you so much for being here with us. Find you on X at Avery, Avary, and Avery.com. So Roger Avery, thank you so much.
Thank you. First of all, you really summarized everything that's on my mind right now, and that I'm thinking about, and that I'm noticing, not just in Hollywood, but in the world in general. And secondly, I want to tell you that when people found out that I was coming on your show, I suddenly started receiving calls like, "Don't do it, be cautious, you're going to get blackballed," or whatever. That actually made me want to go on it more.
By the way, did this start only 2 hours ago? Because I was writing the show headline and almost didn't put Roger Avery in it, because a lot of times guests don't come on because I announce right away, but then they get a bunch of calls.
Yeah. I got the usual calls from the usual cast of characters, people trying to calm the narrative, I guess. And but I've been a fan of yours for a really long time. I mean, to be honest, I've been a fan of yours since I think it was Waking Life that you were in. And I was like, who is that guy? And then when I started researching you and discovering you, and then watching you over the years and realizing this guy, speaks his mind. He speaks the truth as he sees it, the testimony of his eyes, and you take arrows like crazy, and you've remained steadfast. And I look at you as, somebody I think in your last segment said, that you're the canary. What they mean is you're the canary in the coal mine. You're the guy on in the trenches, on the front lines, speaking your beliefs. And there you go. I love this scene. And actually, I'm a big Linkletter fan.
I am too.
Linkletter, I'm glad to hear that. I didn't know what your relationship was like with him after all these years and everything, but I think Rick is of all the filmmakers out there right now of my generation, I think he's the best. I think he's the best of us, and that he represents the best of us.
What?
I said, yo, scrub forward.
Go forward? Alrighty.
Yeah. I mean, what are we listening to here?
Okay. We'll start there.
Becoming older and seeing the world more, because when I was young, as I said, I was naive when I entered into this business. I almost approached it like a surrealist. I came in just believing that movies were about creative expression. I always knew that there was a certain amount of, I think we can call it corporate propaganda, because it's show business. But there was usually an equal part of personal propaganda. And you would have filmmakers, putting their their messages about humanism and about culture.
So it was a trade-off.
You know,
It was, I mean, you knew what you were doing, but it was still a trade-off.
there was something of a balance, and also the corporations, you kind of you knew that they were just a slave to money. They just want to make money. That's the business part of it. The show part was usually something else. And just over the years, I feel like, honestly, because the technologies have changed, the medium itself has transformed. We've gone from film, which is an absolutely separate medium, from digital projection or digital filmmaking. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to create an argument where one is better than the other necessarily. I'm just saying they are different. They're as different as oil paint and watercolor paint, oil and water, completely separate. And yet they're both paint. Except,
well, one is so, just to dumb it down, one is so disposable because it's so quick and there's so much of it. Just going back to film, because I was involved, like you were before me, literally 3/4-inch tape, very precious. With film, 35 millimeter, didn't have any money, could only shoot it one time, had to get it right.
Yeah.
And so there was something magic about that. It was limited to capture this. It made it so much more powerful. Now with digital, you can do it over and over again. And you'd think that would make them do more takes. We now learn they're doing less because they don't even give a shit. It's like they're not pouring their soul into it.
They don't even cut in between takes. Because the video you just run. Well, first of all, directors now, they'll delete takes like they're deleting an email. Like there's no real respect for the moment. We used to say, "I'll see you in the moment." And what the moment was after all this intense preparation on set and getting everything just right, and the actors are off in their trailer or if in a room somewhere, running their lines in their head and getting ready. There was all this like excitement built up, and then you would get there in front, and then you start hearing the camera running, and that you're spending like 4 cents every frame, and as it's whipping through the camera, and that you're burning money in that moment. And in that moment, you suddenly pop into another reality and you perform. And
because it's do or die. I mean, I've not been involved in film like you have.
Would you like me to skip ahead, or are we interested in this portion? I apologize. I've been messing with that chat. I think it's about as good as I'm going to get it. So I don't suppose he actually talked about the narrator stuff yet, has he?
No, he's I thought he was going to get into it for a second, but he didn't.
All right.
I usually do at least 3 takes because it was do it one more time, and then they sat there in between all their being busy 6 months.
He's not making it political at all. I mean, there may be some kind of politics in the movie, but what he's doing is he's really analyzing the French New Wave filmmakers and putting it all into context. And I love cinema in it. It's just him literally shooting because he knows he's mature enough to know when to step back, when to not let his ego get in the way of the movie itself. And so he in many ways serves the artistic more to make it look like how it used to look. And he absolutely captures one. I mean, as I was watching the movie, my wife, I'm not sure she enjoyed it as much as the awards. And the reason is because they, around this time of the year, you want to get a little bit more juice out of your box office. And
all right, so here's, I think, where we're starting. I apologize, folks. I should have time-stamped this. I just thought he got into it, like, right away. But apparently it's talking about avant-garde film. He's a talker. He's a talker. Must have blocked most of it out, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so what he's leading up to here is he's talking about the Academy Awards and how it's basically just a marketing tactic, and then that kind of leads into, if memory serves, that should lead into how they set the narrative and kind of how the CIA does things. So we'll see if this actually hits where I want it to.
You want to kind of, punch the gas a little, and so you remind everybody, and you say, "Oh, this is the best film," and then it makes a little bit more money.
So it's purely exploitive instead of making it by the art form that made it popular to begin with. We got 4 minutes to break.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with best picture. That's a ludicrous term to make for that awards show to make. I mean, even look, I won an Academy Award for Pulp Fiction, and I personally, love Pulp Fiction. But when you look at the other movies that we were up against at that time, I mean, Forrest Gump and the Kieślowski film, and I mean, Ed Wood. These other movies were extraordinary. I mean, I personally think Ed Wood was my favorite film of that year. Again, it's another movie about movie making and in black and white. Maybe this is a thing.
But I think you were too close to your creation. Pulp Fiction was totally new and also exposed a lot of undercurrent that was real and just really hit people. Like nothing ever been made like that. It was truly avant-garde.
Well, it's funny because one of the things that it was the structure of the movie was one of the reasons people were considering it so avant-garde in the moment and so timely. A lot of it is Quentin's execution of the film and how he approached the material, because the actual structure, when you look at, I mentioned Kieślowski before, he had done a film called Three Colors, red, white, and blue.
I'm going to skip again, see if we can find it.
To your parent filmmakers, you look to your cinematic forefathers.
Well, civilization is
like
building on what was best and innovating it and making it even better. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, when you're a child, you look to your parents and then you copy and you learn how to be. And then at a certain point, you kind of learn how to walk on your own. And, with Pulp Fiction, he's looking to his cinematic forefathers. He's looking to, at that time.
Like Kennedy has one in his brain.
And I just definitely was not.
Okay, well, I apologize, guys. This is really frustrating.
It's all good, man. Guy talks a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember so much being said, actually. So, let's see. This looks like it's about to get into Epstein, though, so we can see where this goes. There's a bunch of stuff at the end that he was talking about. It was how they have everybody has like their own pet CIA guy that tucks them in at night and all this kind of crazy narrative control. And it wound up being a really interesting interview from somebody who was on the inside, but.
It just takes him 2 hours to get into it.
Yeah, apparently it takes him 2 hours to get into it, and I was zoned out for most of the gym workout, I guess. So
that's usually how it goes. The juicy good stuff is closer to the end.
Yeah, they're teasing. We got to talk about French films first. So anyway,
during the
French
Biden
vanilla.
presidency,
sorry, somebody say something.
Ooh, French vanilla.
Yeah, there you go.
Where I started, looking around, and I started, realizing that there was this kind of echo chamber in Hollywood, and I just definitely was not part of that. And then this most recent revelation with all of the Epstein papers coming out, and I started reading those as well. And then with what happened with COVID, and and I had been working on a script about this virologist in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, and I was writing a screenplay about her, and she's a Chinese virologist who was the person who had developed the inoculations for leprosy. And it was a huge success, huge success. Chinese company is manufacturing all that stuff in California. And I was writing a story kind of about, what it's like to be a rock star, and you have a hit, and then you're looking for your next hit. And I started noticing that, and there was all these articles that have since been, somewhat suppressed. I think it was in the Winnipeg Free Press, or City Press, and where she had been caught by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police shipping various copyrighted viruses like Hanta and all of them,
which, by the way, appeared to be souped up versions.
Yeah, souped up versions, and they were shipping them directly from Winnipeg to Wuhan on Air Canada freight. And then the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, there's all the, they have to, everything's published, but they've redacted who her financier was. And when I started doing the research on it, I realized, well, it's one of three people, and those guys are the obvious people who you would think. And then suddenly I started realizing this is really nefarious. And then when COVID hit and they left the Kowloon Bridge open on purpose, during Chinese New Year when this was happening, just kind of allowing everybody to flow out. All the stuff that was happening during that time, it was like, this is intentional. This is, The first time it's happenstance. The second time it's coincidence. The third time it's enemy attack. And I started realizing, oh, we're under enemy attack. And then the way our own local California government was behaving at that time, how they were, quarantining people on army bases, but then allowing people to go in and out of those quarantine areas. It was almost like no one is that stupid. And that was her. And so I was writing a script about her. And so I started realizing no one is that stupid. This is intentional. We're intentionally doing this. And then everything just kind of, and look at this ridiculousness that we.
Yeah, we probably should just pause and focus on that stupid. I can't believe they did that. I still can't believe, it's been a year. I still can't believe they did that.
Did what?
Had those kids in those stupid tents. You know, the stupid face masks and all the quarantining crap that they did with COVID.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I still just look at that from time to time, and I'm just astonished that things went that far. I get flashbacks to Seattle every time I think about it. So, it's like, oh my gosh.
I think I wore a mask once. And it was because I drove 2 hours to take my wife to a specific store, and they made us wear a mask. I was like, I'm not going to get kicked out of somewhere that I drove 2 hours to come to, you know.
Yeah, my wife made me feel a little better. She got me a fake mask, quote unquote. It was basically like this transparent fishnet that had a drawstring on it, like it was obviously a fake mask. But, you know, the guards couldn't say, the Gestapo at the ferry, they couldn't say anything because, you know, it was technically a mask, you know.
It's like, what is a mask? You know?
It's a swastika. That's what it was. It was
exactly
it's
what
like,
it is.
we're going to make all you little effers be Democrats for a couple of years.
I actually made a meme that had a picture of a bunch of Jews with the armband, and then below it had a bunch of pictures of people with masks.
You know, the worst part is we look stupider.
Back in 2020.
You know, we were literally the retarded Nazis for about 2 years. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that this country did that. And we all had to participate lest we lose our jobs. I'm like, I hope our kids consider us the flat earthers of our day. I hope our children look back and realize just how stupid we were. So, anyway, I hope they loathe us. I really do. I hope our children loathe us. But anyway, Trevor, you got any thoughts?
I ordered a cool Joker scary mask.
Oh, did you?
So when I would go to Walmart, I had this just full teeth Joker walking into Walmart.
I think
people out.
The favorite thing I saw, my favorite scene that I saw during that time was somebody walked into the Cassville Walmart with a werewolf mask on. That did make me happy. Like, they had the full-blown rubber werewolf mask, and they just walked through Walmart with it. I thought, all right, good idea, good sir, touche. So, anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, I'll move on. Let's see if he actually gets to what I'm...
that we went through as a culture. And this was so, it hammered on us and damaged us so badly. And then I started realizing, because I'm a movie guy, that, you know, that there were clues. There was the Soderbergh movie that had come out, Contagion, where basically they are talking about their you know, is it cautionary? Are they cautioning us at this?
Okay, so this is where we're getting into it. So this is predictive programming. He's talking about the movie. Hang on, I'm going to show it because it helps if you see it. He's talking about the movie Contagion, which was starring Dustin Hoffman, I believe. So, Contagion movie. No, I'm wrong. This is this had a big, long, star-studded cast. Hang on a minute here.
Was it Mark Wahlberg?
It was Lawrence Fishburne and Gwyneth Paltrow, and Mark Wahlberg was in it. Jude Law was in it.
Oh, okay.
Rachel Weisz, yeah. Then Gwyneth Paltrow, she dies horribly in that film. So Yeah, so this is the movie he's referring to. There's also the movie Outbreak. So he's talking about predictive programming where, oh, hey, it happened in China. How about that? Freaking CIA. Anyway. So, yeah, they were...
What was the guy's name that made it?
I'm Matt Damon.
Let's see. Who made this? Let's look here.
Soderbergh?
Scott Z. Burns, and directed by Soderbergh.
Soderbergh. Sodomy and Berg. Just throw that out there.
It has been thrown out. Yes.
Do with that what you will.
Indubitably. Yeah, I thought this was a stupid movie at the time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, it looks a lot like the COVID virus, too. How about that? Freaking jerks.
It's almost like when you sell fear, it all looks the same.
Yeah.
Didn't they already know about it, like, in 2016?
Yeah, they knew about it, I think, as far back as 2014. I think that's when the research began, was 2014. So when did this come out? Does it say 2011? Yeah.
Whoa.
This was what was this? Its popularities went down 2000. Eat it. Anyway. No, they had a UN plan. What does Jones call it? It's like one of those UN. Yeah, the UN had like an Agenda 2030. Yeah, 2030 or something like that. You're right.
There's something else?
There's a million of them. They have all sorts of agendas. Let's look it up. Okay. I'm going to go to Yandex. There's no way Google's going to answer that question. All right, hang on here. What agenda, your UN agenda, supposedly mentioned COVID-19 and forced vaccinations? Yeah, you're right. 2030. It was Agenda 2030. And this is the website. I'm sorry. I appreciate the website here. Hang on, let me show it real quick. Wickedtruths.org. Wickedtruths.org. Yeah, by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. I don't think it's going well, but oh, dude, maybe we should do an episode of this sometime. But there's actually, you know, those in that freaking creepy commercial, you will own nothing and be happy. There's a
Be happy.
Yeah, there's a depiction of drones dropping off groceries in front of people's houses. We have one of those in Pea Ridge. Like, I don't see how in the world it makes any money, but yeah, they set one of those up in preparation for this crap.
Yeah.
Like, it was on purpose. I don't know why people haven't been lined up and killed via firing squad. Like, this is insane that these people are still alive, because it was clearly on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I am like desperately longing for justice here. But anyway. So yeah, that's the movie.
You'll never get it.
What's that line in Game of Thrones? What you make justice, something like that. Anyway. But that's all I can probably say legally, so we'll just leave that alone.
This is going to happen, or are they preparing us that it's going to happen through revelation of the method?
And then the documents come out that it was psychological warfare run by the defense ministries, Canada, the U.S., the UK, to scare us to create this new civilization, to train us for carbon lockdowns in the future. So you, like many others, were already somewhat awake, but COVID and all of it with what you already knew was so obvious, and now it's confirmed that pushed you over the edge. And they thought Disease X and all their Rockefeller documents going back 30 years would bring in their world government. Instead, they now admit at Davos, it's destroyed them, it's discredited them. No one believes anything they say now.
Yeah.
Let's evaluate that. What do you guys think? Do you think nobody believes these clowns anymore? Do you think COVID broke their power? Did everybody realize they were lying?
Yeah, I think they overplayed their hand.
You think so?
I mean, there's always a sucker born every day, as they say.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Sorry, go on, Cody.
everybody's on their own personal journey, man. There's always going to be stupid people that fall for stuff.
Yeah. What do you think, Trevor?
Yeah, there's still a couple guys at work that I know of for sure. But still believe it. Like,
Really?
everything they hear on the news.
Yeah, I think most people
And
are.
you can't argue with them or like try and talk to them. They don't want to hear it.
Oh, they've doubled down.
Yeah.
Was it Mark Twain said? It's really easy to lie to somebody, but it's very hard to convince somebody they've been lied to.
Yeah.
So, I made.
That's a fact, Jack.
That's a fact, Jack. I did make somebody very, very. I think I made them angry. I think I made somebody very angry one time when I said the masks were swastikas. It's like, you realize that, right? They were there to declare your allegiance to Uncle Sam. They're freaking swastikas. They were serving the same purpose. That didn't sit well with certain people, but so I don't guess not everybody's figured it out, but I do think most people have figured it out. I do think the majority of people realize they were lied to. So
I think there's enough people that get it. I don't know. It could happen again. Who knows?
I'm gonna be livid if it happens again. I will literally be slapping people. If I see a mask again, I'm just gonna come up and start slapping. I'm like, what are you doing? Wake up.
I saw several last week.
Really? Why? Were they government workers?
Idea. No.
You know,
I thought about asking, is there a new COVID out or something? Why are these people wearing masks?
they just want you to really know that, which side of the political aisle they're on. They want you to really understand who they're voting for, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, man.
Insane.
And thank God. I mean, this was an attack on the people, and I'm one of those people. And so when I kind of realized this and what was going on, and then I started looking around, and all my friends and everybody, they're all just happily getting shots, and now they're just dying left and right. And so when this started happening, I started, I think, forming a much heavier.
Yeah. Are you seeing anybody who had negative ramifications from the jibbies? The needle?
Yeah, most people don't admit it, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. We knew people that got negatively affected.
They'd be like, oh, it was from COVID or,
Yeah, anything else except
willful ignorance.
Right. Yeah. Trevor, what about you?
As far as like personally, no. I know a few people that got the shots and stupid jabs, but they didn't have any symptoms or anything from it.
Well, I think some people got saline shots.
That's true. Yeah, I've heard that it was kind of mixed. But knew a girl that got.
I did see on. I think it was TikTok. A young man. He was really healthy, and he started posting. He got the shot, and then he was healthy as a horse, and then after the shot, he was put in the hospital. And he died from getting the shot. And they actually banned his channel.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They knew it was on purpose. There should be consequences.
Your distrust of authority. And then I started thinking about it. I started looking at various movies and seeing the patterns and how it happened. And I think the one that I mentioned on Joe Rogan was Fight Club, made by a guy who's a commercial director. They hired a guy who makes commercials to make a big commercial that is effectively selling what's going to happen. And the movie itself is a manifesto. It's a manifesto about bringing down the financial system, and the buildings all collapse. And when you look at what happened 1 year after Fight Club came out, it was 9/11. And then you start looking at, well, who produced Fight Club? And that was Arnon Milchan. And Arnon has openly admitted, this is not me saying it, this is him saying it, that, you know, he's a Mossad guy. He's a Mossad agent. And that, and an arms dealer. That's what Fincher used to call him, was, oh, my movie was produced by an arms dealer, like jokingly. And, you know, and so then I start looking at Arnon Milchan's other movies, and he did this movie called Medusa Touch with George C. Scott. I think Lee Remick is in it. And in that movie, again, airplanes are crashing into buildings. And, okay, so then I think I mentioned on Joe Rogan that at one point very early in my career, I had been, through John Milius, brought in on a little DOD weekend where we were all going to get together, and they got a bunch of writers together, and they put us in a little tiny ballroom type thing in Long Beach, and we all wrote scenarios for how to attack Los Angeles under the guise of this is if we come up with ideas on how to attack Los Angeles, we can come up with preventions for it, which sounds good to me. But like, again, I was young and naive at that time. And as I look back on that, I realize how nefarious that was. And now,
by the way, because I remember articles 20 years ago that even came out, I'm kind of jumping the gun. I don't know this is what you say you're saying, where it turned out they were telling top writers, maybe it have been you they're talking about, at these DOD-funded camps where you thought you were fighting terror, that they were actually going to use that for scenarios for training and or false flags.
That's exactly what it was. And so so I was, when I started putting all this together in my head and realizing what a useful idiot I had been, you know, throughout much of my career. Yeah,
they got a top writer, one of the best in the world, for free, writing them scripts for stuff they want to either psychologically say or do.
Yeah, effectively for free. And so that was kind of like a third eye opened up in my head, and I started realizing all of this. And this was also at a time where I started approaching my faith in a much deeper way. And my
Just imagine that. You got some FBI going, hey, we want you to imagine a war game. Just pretend. Imagine the most elaborate terrorism scenario you could think of. Why? We're going to practice with it. Sure you're not going to use it? No, we'll be right. We would never. No, it's okay. You'll be a hero. So, it's just...
Yeah, it's pretty, like you said, nefarious, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they can video these people coming up with these war games, and they use that as blackmail to make them do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's all a big blackmail racket.
Yep.
Belief in God in a much deeper way. Like, there it is, 9/11. So this is the revelation of the method where
2 years before they did it on The Simpsons and everywhere. And people ask how I predicted it. It was a lot of things in the media saying Bin Laden's going to hit us and all this. I knew the FBI had helped bomb the World Trade Center in '92. I interviewed Ahmad Salam. So I had all this data, but then I started having nightmares of the towers on fire being blown up. And it was the collective unconscious. It wasn't that my unconscious was more powerful than my conscious. So I just said, they're going to blow the World Trade Center. They're going to blame Bin Laden. They're going to fly planes into it. And I didn't even know that right around the time I was doing that, because I didn't watch a lot of TV, they had a lone gunman X-Files reboot where the government hijacks a jumbo jet, a small group, to fly to the World Trade Center to go to war in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. And then I got, a few years later, contacted by Chris Carter, by some of the people on the show, never met him in person, but talked to an email on the phone. And they said, listen, the CIA came to us at parties and said sometimes, you ought to do a story on this. So instead of Chris Carter writing a story for them, they came and gave him the idea. And people, when I talked about it, said, that's a lie. They talked to Carter and he goes, no, Alex Jones is a good guy. He's not a racist like they say. This is like 2016. He goes, and that did happen. So again, how crazy is that?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way,
on this subject, I just want to bring something up because I've been staring at, I don't know if you can see the screen. but on the live stream screen, you've got this stupid box that's been blocking the chat. And if you look down at the bottom of the stupid box that I've been trying to remove for half an hour during this live stream, at the bottom of the chat, it says, new managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Can you think of a more corporate way to say they're going to censor the crap out of you? Because that's what we want. That's what we want. We want more moderators. We want more people micromanaging whatever freaking word pops in somebody's head. Pretty soon, they'll be censoring emojis out of boredom. But, you know, they're on your side. They're there to freaking help you, guys.
Yeah.
They're your allies. Hang on a minute. I'm going to try to get the whole thing pulled up.
You should be able to hit no thanks on it or something like that.
They won't let me. I have clicked close. I've turned off the moderating function because screw these communists. But just so you know, this is going to be awkwardly placed in front of everybody as soon as I actually get this positioned right because everything's fighting me.
Do you want me to try and log out?
No, you're good.
Moderators.
No, you don't need to see my face. I'm just going to do this for a second. But look at this. New managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live because you're all a bunch of disgusting communists. I don't believe for a second that you need to be blocking these words. You people are vile. You're probably going to be rooting for a genocide in your smoke-filled room at some point. Anyway, I just wanted to read that because I have been screwing with that freaking box for a half an hour, and it's just letting me know that they're going to censor the crap out of me. You gotta love these freaking communists.
Wow.
You've never tried real communism, though.
No, it's never been done before. Ever. They'll get it right one day.
One of these times.
Yeah. Just gotta trust them. Just gotta trust them a little bit longer. Hang on a minute. I gotta adjust this stupid...
Only a true Scotsman.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I've been sitting there staring at it, just getting angrier and angrier. So, anyway. All right, Bins2K looks gives the eye emoji. I agree. It's like, these people are awful. They're freaking awful. Anyway. Okay, back to your originally scheduled
What do you mean,
program.
these people?
I mean communists. I mean the vile people at YouTube. What do you mean, these people?
I don't know. Who owns YouTube?
Who owns YouTube? I have no
Google.
idea.
Google owns YouTube.
And then somebody owns Google. They're communists. Who cares?
It's called Alphabet Inc.
Alphabet Inc. There you go. I didn't actually.
Alphabet owns YouTube?
Alphabet owns Google, which owns YouTube.
Who owns Alphabet?
The CEO of Alphabet. I don't remember his name.
I didn't know there was a company called Alphabet. Shows.
Yeah, it's called Alphabet Inc. Let me see if I can find it.
All right, yeah, go ahead and Google it. So while you're doing that, Beans2Kalix says the you people. There you go.
What do you mean, you people?
That's such a
What do
great
you
movie.
mean, you people?
Such a great movie.
Man, I love that movie, dude.
It's such a great movie. Yeah, I do
It's
too.
so good.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Yeah, that's
It's
really
like
good.
it's like one of the best movies ever made.
I know. I watched that when I was in a repertory theater company thing, and it was.
Do you want me to
great.
read it or send it to you or?
Who owns Alphabet?
Yeah,
No,
just send me a link, and
okay.
I'll pull
Well,
it up.
I was just gonna read it real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and read it then. That's fine.
Alphabet Inc. is the parent company of Google, created on October 2nd, 2015, to oversee Google and its subsidiaries. The largest shareholders of Alphabet include Vanguard, BlackRock, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, and Eric Schmidt.
All the usual suspects I see. It's always the same guys. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah,
my
because
gosh.
I was trying to get into doing maybe a little bit of stocks, and I like YouTube. Like,
Uh-huh.
so I thought I would buy into YouTube stock, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
to do that, I have to buy into who owns YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. So I was like, well, I guess I'll buy into Google. And then it said Alphabet Inc. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Who owns that? Rabbit hole. It's a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's all the same bad, evil actors everywhere. Vanguard and BlackRock. They're buying your houses and censoring your words. Absolutely terrible companies. Need to burn. But anyway. All right, let's... Do we want to go on with this, or do we want to move on to the next thing? Because he's talking about predictive programming right now. And I kind of broke up the momentum with that stupid moderator thing.
I mean, I don't know. We all get predictive programming.
Yeah. Well, we'll give it... How about this? We'll give it another 2 minutes, then we'll head on to segment 4.
All right,
Give him a final thought.
You know, it seems like a lot of people, when you get to a certain level, you start having a handler. You start having a CIA handler, and I got to know mine. He's a pretty nice guy.
Wow, tell me about this. Whoa. Tell us about this.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you about this and other things. I mean, you know, once you befriend the people of power, let's say, and you start getting on people's radar, at a certain point, it's like, you know what? It doesn't cost anything. Let's put somebody on Avery, and let's watch him. And just make sure that, you know, Avery is, you know, remaining in his predefined frame and not deviating too far from it. And
I just want to pause and say this is a mainstream Hollywood guy. This is not some unknown character. He has been an established part of Hollywood for forever. And he is telling you that he has his very own pet CIA agent. Just want to let that sink in.
So he's right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of the big dogs saying the CIA, make sure you stay within your frame, which is controlling narrative. It's just disgusting. It's amazing and disgusting.
You know, so there's a group of guys, actually. And
what'd you say?
Makes me wonder who my CIA operative is.
Oh, I'm sure we all have one, you know. It's probably somebody who's like, you know, on probation or something, because we can't be that interesting. So,
right.
Anyway.
You know, to begin with. And, you know, you get to know these people. And, you know, for a while, I was paranoid about it, but then I kind of got used to it. And I realized that, you know, just... I don't know if I'm still on any list, but or need to be watched. Probably, you know, more recently, you know, I am. But I get calls from him every now and then, you know, advising me on stuff and saying, hey, you might not want to talk about this. Why not talk about this instead? And you know, and stuff like that. And
well, I remember former NSA and CIA. What was his name? Michael Hayden. In a speech like 10 years ago goes, we don't spy on bad people, we spy on interesting people.
Yeah, well, and they told me at one point, look, don't try to lose us.
My taxpayer dollars were supposed to make sure you spied on bad people. Not just saying,
well,
didn't really work out though, did it?
If you think about it, the government, they whether they're supposed to or not, they end up having the power to pick the people that they want for the jobs that they need filled.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually it comes down to a big giant recruiting operation.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so they've like got us like tracked down to like our bloodline. They like know what incarnation are gonna happen next, and you know. It's ridiculous. And so they're like, we need that guy.
But at the same time, they make
But yeah,
sure
that's
you
what all those, like,
yeah.
those special programs at schools and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hunting.
Yeah. But at the same time, you've got to make sure you stay in your lane. Remember, you gotta be smart, but you gotta obey them without question. So yeah.
Because frequently your surveillance will be there to protect you. You know, and he gave me a scenario where this had happened once, where some guy got jumped by a gang and they had to move in to protect their, because they're surveilling.
No, I had the CIA try that with me. They're like, hey, your wife's cheating on you. Here's the hotel. And I'm just like, and I go there and it's happening. I'm like, God, they're like, we want to help you. Now, see how the surveillance is good?
But you know,
told that story. Oh God, I'm out of control, folks. But this is how it works. Because they're like, we're here to serve you. We're here to serve you. We're here to serve you. Yeah.
And it's all part of soft power control. You know, I got invited to this dinner that was being thrown by a bunch of like the Palantir guys. And, you know, I go to this, this meal in a private club and in a private room, big private room with a banquet table. And, you know, there's all the people you would imagine would be there. Oh, like there's the Top Gun guys and, oh, you know, there's so-and-so and there's this director. And I was thinking, why am I here? And basically, they got up, and they made a very good speech, which was what happened to, and it was actually Shyam Sankar, the CTO of Palantir, got up and basically made a plea. What happened to the American cinematic universe? And he wrote an essay about this called "The American Cinematic Universe." What happened to The Hunt for Red October? You know, Die Hard, these movies that were supportive, you know, one could say of, you know, Die Hard supportive of law enforcement, even though it kind of makes fun of the FBI and even though it's making fun of like kind of the goofiness of the LAPD and stuff like that. It looks at the individuals of law enforcement and it makes them the heroes of the movie.
But it humanizes them. It humanizes them.
It humanizes them. And then you look at Hunt for Red October, and it's about a CIA analyst who basically has to like drops himself into the Arctic Ocean to be able to board the submarine so that he can help stop nuclear war because they're trying to create this handshake between the Russians and the Americans through Sean Connery's submarine captain turning over this submarine. And so this is like, I mean, it's a Tom Clancy. I think it's a Tom Clancy novel. And so, this is Hollywood doing what Hollywood did best, which
By the way, I knew the CIA manager that gave them the classified info on real things that happened that's Steve Pachenik.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's all of his stuff is based on actual documents and, these scenarios and stuff like that they read. And so, and so their plea was like, look, we're gathering everybody together because this is what we want to do. We want to regain soft power because somewhere along the way, soft power got co-opted and taken control over by this other group. And, I have a very powerful director friend who I'm very close to, who kind of was laughing about it. And he said, because I said, yeah, there's probably a dinner going on in some other room somewhere else in Los Angeles with another group, and they're trying to do the opposite. And he laughed and he said, you mean like knocking over the apple cart, playfully. And and so that's when I suddenly realized, oh my God, there's all these power groups attempting to control narrative. I mean, I always thought movies were just movies. But
so there you go. That's a good line to end it on. I always thought movies were just movies. Most of it's propaganda meant to turn you into a hedonistic idiot.
90%. That's what I like about Tropic Thunder. I don't think it's that at all.
Probably not. I think there's always like groups that are challenging. Whatever.
Tropic Thunder was like it was a real art piece.
Yeah, you could call it that. That nose candy, that giant pile of nose candy. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Yeah. That was great. Okay.
Hysterical.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to segment 4, unless you guys got final thoughts.
I never do.
That's unfortunate. Oh well. Trevor, how about you?
Finality is a thought.
Well, guys, if you want to watch this, this is on band.video. The full interview is titled "The Avant-Garde Writer." Director Roger Avery joins Alex Jones to discuss his awakening to the satanic globalist mind control cult that runs Hollywood, the deep state, and most of the world. So I found it very interesting. I'm kind of a film nerd, so I guess I found the other stuff interesting too. At the very least, didn't notice it. But anyway.
Yeah.
So it took a while to get there, but we did get where I wanted to go. So anyway, that's the video. If you want to watch the rest of it, highly recommend it. It was good. So we're moving on to segment 4. So if you're on the live stream, stay with us. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Deuces.
On to part 4. So part 4 is going to be a little more shoot at the hip, I guess would be the better way to put it. Because there's apparently a bunch of chaos going on in Cuba right now. We don't really know what's happening. So I wanted to...
Exit up.
Well, we'll start with the 2-minute Asmongold video that came out. And I want to play that, and then I'm going to see what we find on X to see if there's any updates.
Who's Asmongold?
He's another YouTuber.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, so let's see if I can actually get to him. Here we go.
He was interviewed by somebody.
Huh? What'd you say, Trevor?
I saw an interview with him by somebody recently.
Yeah, well, apparently Cuba is in turmoil, and this might be history in the making, so I thought we ought to, at least react to it. I know it's not pertaining to anything that we do, but I wanted to at least kind of keep tabs on what was going on, so we'll just start here.
Here it is. Mass protests across Cuba. Cuba enters its 8th straight night without power as the protests spread across the island. No fuel shipments in 3 months, batteries running on firewood. And now Havana is talking to Washington for the first time because they have no other choice. Holy shit. Uh-oh. How's he on a bike? Well, probably because there's not as much fuel it requires. Holy shit. The brave people of Cuba have just taken over the headquarters of the Communist Party. These rebels set fire to the building, setting the Communist building on fire. Oh. Damn. Damn. Uh-oh. Communism's canceled. It's done. Basically, Cuba, after seeing Iran, after seeing Venezuela, I think the guy from Cuba is like, okay, I'm going to call you. I see where things are going here. Cuba's president confirms the communist government has begun negotiations with Trump. They are negotiating with the United States to initiate the democratic process for the end of the Cuban regime.
Right now at 11, we begin with major breaking news. In a rare move, Cuba has already begun releasing political prisoners. Cuba also confirmed today it's in talks with the Trump administration. Cuba's leader, Miguel Diaz-Canel, announcing both countries are in the early stages of a possible agreement as the crisis in Cuba deepens.
Director of Cuba, Miguel, this is the same thing, announces that the nation, they have officially given in. They have officially given in to I didn't even know, do we even have a lot of pressure on Cuba yet? Yeah, they're already caving. Oh my God, this is amazing. We had pressure. The lack of oil from Iran and Venezuela made their country have no energy. Combine that with lack of food from Russia due to the Ukraine war, and you get the fall of Cuba. Thank God. I mean, that's an amazing thing. I mean, this is like millions of people that are going to be liberated from, another communist shithole regime.
Don't tell me what Asman is saying.
I don't know what that last clip was about, but that happened. So yeah, apparently it looks like Cuba's about to fall.
We are actually putting ChatGPT.
Any questions?
Nope.
Nope. All right, well, let's get on X then and try to figure out what in the world's going on. We haven't seen anything new since we first looked this up. So this is happening in real time. I don't have anything pre-picked out here, so I think this is what he was looking at. That was very loud. See if I can make that window a little bigger. So there's that. Let's see what we got here. Keep an eye on Miguel Diaz-Canel, Salvador Valdez Mesa, and Manuel Marrero Cruz. Cuba is next. Won't before the mullahs fall either. President Trump is truly a geopolitical genius. Okay, this is Laura Loomer. All right, so that's the same video. Okay, Venezuela. All right, this is from March 3rd. Here's this guy's speech. So let's see what this is about.
Con la política consistente que siempre ha presentado la
Well, that's in a
revolución
language I don't know.
bajo la dirección.
Let's just read this here. Come on, guys, quit being jerks. It's not going to click on the whole thing. Okay. Cuba negotiations update. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel says the government has entered negotiations with the United States, which we already knew already. Okay. Trevor, have you found anything relevant?
No, it's what you picked.
All right.
I haven't really been looking.
All right, let's see if this is better.
The news makes me sleepy.
The news makes you sleepy?
Yeah.
This might be history in the making, man. Maybe. You got any thoughts?
I'm looking on ground news, see if they got anything.
Well, Cody, what's your opinion of this then? Well, maybe if we get you talking, we'll wake you up a little bit.
I literally forgot what we were talking about.
Cuba.
Cuba.
The communists might be falling in Cuba.
Yeah, I don't know who owns Cuba because we had that thing in the 80s, right?
Don't believe so. I'm not sure, but I don't believe so. I think that there's a lot of... I couldn't say who owns Cuba. I kind of suspect either Russia or China, but I don't really know. I do think that they're working for some other communist group, and I think since they haven't been able to get oil, that's kind of what's caused the collapse of the whole thing. It's my opinion, but I don't know. I'm learning about all this just now. So let's see if this is actually...
Man, I don't know.
You got...
I don't know. I'm not there. Wars and rumors of wars, man. These things must happen.
Gotcha. Well, let's see if we can get any more information out of this.
Que en correspondencia.
Also in Spanish. Never mind. We got another video here.
Baxter, you know I don't speak Spanish.
Huh?
I said, Baxter, you know I don't speak Spanish.
Baxter, what? I'm sorry.
Baxter.
Oh, that's an Anchorman quote. Okay. Slow on the draw tonight, man.
A little bit.
Took off the flag of the Communist Party. There is no more symbolic image than this. What happened yesterday marks the beginning of a new stage for Cuba. Well, so they took off the flag in the Communist Party. So this is the first time the protest broke out. A bunch of people protesting and honking. So it's kind of a similar deal as what's going on in Iran. Or was going on in Iran before the bombing started. So Yeah, that's all. See, this is from 14 hours ago. This is the Fan Trump Army. What is this? Let's see. So you got a big sign that says "Make Cuba Great Again." Alright, that's also in Spanish. Guys, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know. Can't help you with that.
Hey, is that the clip of Ted Cruz about that thing?
No, this is the Tucker Carlson interview. He didn't say it. We watched that whole thing and my blood pressure went up. Did we watch it together? I don't remember. I either watched it alone or I thought I watched it with you guys.
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah. We didn't do
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Because Tucker was asking all those pointed questions and it was hilarious.
Yeah, he was acting like I was getting CNN flashbacks. That like infuriated me. That was very sleazy journalism. Did the same thing. Did the same thing with Huckabee, by the way. That whole I don't know. I can't stand Tucker has gotten on my nerves. I used to be a big fan. I'm not a big fan anymore, I guess.
I think he likes Sadducees. I think that's what I think.
You all tuckered out on Tucker?
I'm tuckered out on Tucker. I like Sadducees. Well, yes, obviously. But it's not just that. It's the freaking questioning stuff. Like I quit watching the news because I got tired of hearing crap like that. And now it's like all coming back, and it's like all the commentators are starting to pull that crap again, and it's really frustrating.
You learned the tactics, and you were like, ew.
Yeah. Well, Limbaugh
Now
taught
it's
you
like,
the tactics.
Ew.
Yeah. You know, Limbaugh was a master. He understood how they did what they did, and he told his audience, and I learned what they did, and now it's like coming back, and he's doing it. And I'm just... I don't want to see that crap again. I went to the internet to for my news because I didn't want to see that crap anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. Trevor, have you found anything?
Yeah, no, it's basically everything. They're just talking to Trump about trying to figure out what to do.
They're all
It all seems stuff.
So it looks like we just still don't have a whole lot of information. I was thinking by the end of the show we'd have more, but I guess not.
Yeah, I haven't seen any updates since Friday, since yesterday.
Yeah, that's
Down with communism.
Down with communism, faux show. Yeah, well, here's something. What is this? Somebody like cooking on top of the embassy?
Huh.
Nice.
Huh. Okay. Well, there's no volume to that. Interesting. All right.
That's because it's one of them space telescope cameras.
Space telescope camera. They don't have audio, huh? Cops are trying to arrest kids, I guess. This is 7 hours ago.
Yeah, this is the most updated story I've got. It's
right.
7 hours ago.
All right, go for it.
The Cuban president says talks were recently held with the U.S. to resolve differences. And that's all he's got.
Nice.
And then it goes into what's been happening, and then that's it.
Well, this is a somewhat unrelated question. Oh, that's... that's a little funny. Trump, was it Trump Chavez? I don't know. Trump Castro. There we go. That's kind of funny. All right.
Yeah, so as of right now, the most updated we've got is that the talks were recently held to resolve their differences.
Okay. Well, here's the video of the communist headquarters. We can take a look at this. They're basically running in there. This is from Benny Johnson. Yeah, Benny Johnson says the brave people of Cuba have just taken over the headquarters of the Communist Party in Sigeo de Avila. These rebels then set fire to the building. Cubans see the freedom being brought to other nations and now want theirs. There you go. He's got something else here.
Cool.
Yeah. He's got another one. Torches, watches torches ablaze are carried into the Communist Party HQ in Cuba. So this is when they're actually setting the building on fire. There are reports of other protests all over the island. Is this finally the revolution that frees Cuba? Well, if they're talking to the United States, I would assume they're going, we give.
Yeah.
So somebody being a smart aleck. We're going to be able to vacation in Gaza, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, and maybe Minnesota soon. Incredible times. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on.
Cool.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
It'll all blow over soon.
I got a question for you, Cody. I don't know. Okay. You're the mechanics guy. I'm pretty ignorant on all that. But how in the world do you use a fire to charge a battery?
Oh.
That's what they were saying. Like they had wood fire batteries or something like that. Did I hear that correctly?
I was kind of wondering about that myself. I mean,
I was like, how would you even do that?
Steam or steam can turn a propeller to charge a battery, or smoke. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, because they'd have to create some kind of static, right? I mean, like some kind of
I would
charge.
think so.
Yeah.
I don't think you can transmit regular heat.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was kind of baffled by that.
Like that.
I have no idea. I am not a mechanical mind. He was saying that Tesla was able to do something similar, like transfer heat and use it as energy. Is that what you were getting at, Trevor?
Yeah, something similar to that.
Yeah, like scalar waves.
Yeah.
But not fire.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Scalar waves.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, guys. I was kind of hoping there'd be more out by now, but apparently it's all went radio silent.
Yeah,
I'm just seeing the same videos. Oh, we got Alex Jones. Let's see what he has to say.
The old political order is collapsing. A new system is forming. When I talk about World War IV, that is the term the CIA uses. They call the Cold War World War III. World War IV, they predicted, would be more kinetic, not so much cold. I want to get rid of the mullahs. But 14 days ago, I
thought this was talking about Cuba.
Reports that had come out that the Joint Chiefs of Staff had told Trump this had a very low probability of succeeding to get rid of the mullahs. Now, the mullahs a week ago said they're not going to surrender and they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz, and they've done it. So we see these headlines with Trump saying, oh, I'm not going to negotiate. They're not trying to negotiate. Now Trump has called for this international fleet, the EU, the UK, the Chinese, our enemy, to come there and take over the strait so that Iran will attack their ships. It doesn't matter. All Iran has to do is attack ships that aren't flagged to China or India, and no.
Okay, I thought this was about Cuba. Okay, I feel a little baited and switched here. Am I being unfair? Because that felt like a bait and switch to me.
Clickbait.
Yeah, that felt like a bait and switch. I'm not happy about that. Let's just skip ahead and see if he actually does eventually address Cuba, since that's what I wanted to learn about.
Trying to get him
I
arrested.
think you just have high expectations.
What, people actually talking about what they say they're going to talk about? No, really setting the bar there. Of course, then again, we probably have that standard up ourselves. So,
talking to the Iranians, this is so un-American. This is offensive military is, but not their ability to play not their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz by these Chinese anti-ship missiles that are hypersonic we can't stop, then Americans are going to go crazy and want full war. And the Marines, the Army are ready to go in. Full invasion of Iran. And just the Arabs. Israel literally only thinks about itself.
This whole
and what's weird is
blasted thing is about Iran. That's it. Look at this. Okay, that's not fair, dude. You sit there and have a picture of Cuba, and then you start talking about Iran. All right. Whatever.
You sound like you need some creatine, Gary.
I need some creatine. I already had my creatine, though. I already had it for the day.
That's what I need to get.
You need, yeah, it's good stuff. It works.
Creatine.
It works. Yeah. Okay, so, all right. 7 hours ago. Okay, looks like there's protests in Iran again. So this was 7 hours ago. Maybe they're making their move. I think that the other guy that they tried to put in to replace the first guy is dead. So, yeah, this is Cuba again. So, yeah, it's happening all over the world. I wish everybody the best.
Yep.
Good luck.
See you guys on the flip side.
Yeah. Don't be like us and screw it up for an entire generation, because the hippies are a bunch of degenerates. Don't get hippies. If you manage to get your freedom, don't get hippies. They'll take it away. They'll promise you hedonism and then take away all your freedom. That's what they do. They're awful.
100%.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got, guys. That was a little...
Sounds good to me, man.
That was a little lackluster, but hey, I honestly thought there'd be more out by now. But I guess not. So, all right, gentlemen. You got any final thoughts for this evening?
No, let's wrap it up. It's been a good show. I broke my leg and everything.
You broke your leg? What?
Break a leg.
Oh, that's stage. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Man, you're slow on the references tonight.
I'm tired, man. I've been on a diet. Creatine ain't fixing it all. So, doing the best I can, though. Trevor, do you have any final thoughts?
No. Good luck to them all.
All right.
Kat, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Well, hey, before you go, because I've got a few seconds to kill.
Oh, yeah.
Good kicking it. Thank you, Beans to Clayx. Thank you. He says, good kicking it. You too, sir. We appreciate having you. Thank you. Before we go, second book. It's out on print. Temple of Maggie Stone. I'm Poor. Please buy it. It's on Amazon. GaryPaulVarner.com. Barnes & Noble. And other places that Drafted Digital sends them to that I'm not aware of. So, okay. Yeah. I am a terrible advertiser. So, all right. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.